Now we are going to deal with LO extraction. In the last class, we have seen about generic extraction, where you have been explicitly creating your own data source. But now today we are going to look at LO extraction, where you don't have to create a data source on your own. You have a data source delivered by SAP as part of business content. You have a ready-made data source delivered by SAP. Now when I say ready-made data source delivered by SAP, it will have data source. It will also give you extract structure along with it, and also a function model which will extract data for you. In case of generic, what you are doing, you are creating extract structure, you are creating function model, and then creating data source. Right? SAP has done that. SAP has created a function model, SAP has created extract structure, and they have created a data source and they delivered it to you. You just have to use it and extract your data. That is what I mean when I say business content data source. Generic ఏం చేస్తున్నావు, నువ్వే ఫంక్షన్ క్రియేట్ చేసి ఒక ఎక్స్ట్రాక్ట్ స్ట్రక్చర్ క్రియేట్ చేసి డేటా సోర్స్ క్రియేట్ చేసి వాడుకుంటాను. దీంట్లో ఆల్రెడీ వాళ్ళు ఫంక్షన్ క్రియేట్ చేసి ఎక్స్ట్రాక్ట్ స్ట్రక్చర్ డేటా సోర్స్ అన్ని క్రియేట్ చేసి ఇచ్చినట్టు నువ్వు కూడా వాడుకోవాలంతే. ఓకే, దట్ ఈస్ వాట్. Mainly we have three topics into this. One is introduction about LO extraction, then how do we generate LO data source, then how do you migrate data using different delta update modes. When I say migrate data, when I say generate data source, I am saying data source ready-made given, then what is that you are generating again? In case of LO, I have ready-made data source, right? But still I say how to generate. Means when the data source is delivered by SAP, if you are not happy with that, you regenerate it again with more field. That's what we refer it as generating LO data source. When I say migrating your data using different update modes, once this flow is set up, we have all the data in R3, right? How do we get those data into BW? This is going to support Delta. So what are the historical data we have? How do we bring them to BW? And then when you process new records, when you create a new transaction or when you change an existing transaction, how do we bring them into BW is what? We understand how do we process those delta records. And we have different mechanisms for processing delta records. We have something like direct delta, queue delta, serialized, unserialized. So that is what different update modes. So if it is direct delta, how is my delta records of processed? If it is queue delta, we tell you how is my delta records of processed. Same way serialized or unserialized, that's what we are going to look at in this topic. We will see what is on this. Now if you look at this different types of extract, where is our LO? Here. We call it as LO cockpit or LO extractors, anything is fine. Okay. So we have LO as part of, delivered as part of what? Business content extractors. Means what? I have a ready-made data source delivered by SAP, we just have to use it. But normally all your business content objects get prefixed with the technical name as 0, right? But this will have an exception. Even though they are business content extractors, they still get with the prefix with the number 2. They come as 2 LIAC. There is an exception to this. Okay? So only this chart is just to make you understand that LO extractor or LO cockpit is delivered as part of what? Business content extractor. When I say business content extractor, I have a ready-made data source delivered by SAP along with extract structure and function model to have the data extracted for me. Okay? And does it support delta? Yes. Because we said we will look at delta mechanism. Yes. Now, why do we use this? The LO extraction is nothing but a procedure. When I refer as LO extractor, nothing but LO data source. When I say LO extractor, it's a procedure. And when I say LO extractor, nothing but it's a LO data source. That's what we can use those words interchangeably. Yeah? Good. Now first thing is, why do we use LO extraction? We already clarified that. I already clarified your point saying, when extracting data from R3 to BW, we have different types of extractions, which is more of data centric. When I say data centric means what? For each type of data, we have different type of extractions. Like say, when you want to extract COPA data, we have a COPA extractor. When you want to extract data for FISL, we have a different extractor for FISL. Similar way, when you want to extract logistics data, we have LO data sources. We have different type of extraction which is more data centric. అంటే నువ్వు ఏ డేటా తీసుకురావాలో ఆర్డర్ దాన్ని బట్టి టైప్ ఆఫ్ ఎక్స్ట్రాక్షన్ చూస్ చేసుకోవాలి. So when you want to extract logistics data from R3 to BW, we use LO extractor or LO data source or LO extraction. Yeah. So we use LO extraction to extract logistics data. Now what do you mean by logistics? Okay, you can understand logistics. Let's say in a product-based company, generally what we do, we purchase the raw materials, like as per the order from the customer, we purchase the raw materials from the suppliers, yeah, and process in the plant, we process them into finished goods, and we sell the finished goods to customers. Right? All the transactions from the point you buy raw material, you sell it to the customer, all this will be considered logistics. Like say, purchasing, inventory, production planning, PP, plant maintenance. After production, you do quality checking, QM, quality management, sales, delivery, billing. All this will be your logistics. When you want to extract data of any of this data, you use LO extraction. So why do you get more questions on this in the real time is, if you look at R3, you will have most of the data as part of logistics. But R3 is you mainly categorize entire R3 because the SAP ECC is what? It groups lots of models, right? SD, MM, PP, right? What SAP does is, the entire ECC is broadly divided three categories: logistics, HR, and finance. And within this logistics, you will have SD, MM, PP, so most of the data what you need for reporting in BW will be mostly from logistics. So that's where you use LO extraction more frequently, because that's where it becomes important for interview point of view. ఎక్కువ వాటర్ కాబట్టి ఇంపార్టెంట్ అంతే, కాంప్లెక్స్ అని కాదు. ఓకే most time. So now you understand logistics most. Whenever you want to extract data for any of these logistics, we would go with LO extraction, which is where SAP is given you ready-made data source. Suppose, let's say you want to extract certain logistics data, yeah, and you're not happy with the data source what is delivered by SAP. Let's say you're happy just with 80% of it, then what do you go for customize that? You change it, yeah. But say if you're not at all finding any data source suitable for your requirement, then what do? You go for creating your own generic extractor and extract your data. అసలు కాస్ట్ డేటా అసలు సూటబుల్ లేదంటే అప్పుడు జనరిక్ వెళ్తాం. సూటబుల్ ఉంది, కొద్దిగా తేడా ఉందంటే you change it and then use it. That is how it is. So ultimately, when you don't find anything suitable, the last option would be your generic. That's how it is. Okay. Now, LO extractors are delivered by SAP as part of business content extractor. Do you understand this point? That means for extracting logistics data, we have LO data sources ready-made delivered by SAP. The only thing is, not a point saying any object what is being delivered by SAP as part of business content would be in which version? Delivered version. If I need to use it, it should be in which version? Active. So you'll have to go about installing this data source so that it does create a copy of the data source in active version, then we can start using it. So do we install this data source in R3 or BW? R3. Data source has to be from R3. Then rest all objects you install it in BW. Good. Now, normally you find LO data source naming something like this. 2 LIS, 11 VH, not only 11, it could be different numbering, but every LO data source gets prefixed with this 2 LIS. There is an exception. Even though it is LO extractor, they still don't use it. Even though it is a business term, they still don't use 0. They still use 2. Yeah? So it always gets prefixed with 2 LIS, and then the next two numbers, 11 like this, right? It can have 11, 02, 03, 12, 13. Okay. This number indicates application. I was telling you, in R3, normally we should not call it as model, we should call it as application, SD application, MM application, finance like that. Right? And this 2-digit number indicates to which application data are you extracting. Are you extracting data relevant to sales orders or deliveries or billing or purchasing or inventory, plant management, quality management, QM, notifications, what? Depending on that, this number would change. How do I know which is the number for what? 11 indicates sales orders, 12 indicates delivery, 13 indicates billing, 02 indicates purchasing, 3 indicates inventory, and all of this. We'll see this people later, but when you go to LBW, so this is where you can understand what is all logistics, purchasing, then what? Inventory controlling, shop floor, and plant maintenance, machinery control area, QM, invoice verification, shipment, sales, ship deliveries, billing, plant maintenance, customer service, retail, all this will get into what? Logistics. And you see a number here, 0. What is 11 for? Sales orders. So 0 is purchasing, 3 is inventory, 4 is stock floor, 5 is QM, notifications, number. Okay. So depending on which data you are using, extract data of which application, this number would change. Okay. Fine. Next, what is this here? Next two characters, VA, is actually event. It's actually the event of that particular respective application. And referring 11 is indicating the sales orders. And VA is actually the event of that particular sales order. Normally if you see, the transaction code to create a new sales order is VA01. To change it is VA02. To display it is VA03. So all the programs associated with the sales orders are being triggered with the event VA. So the next two characters is nothing but the event of the application. VD, VC, etc. Okay? But not mandatory. This is not mandatory. There are some extent. For example, if you look at purchasing, you'll have like 2LIS_02 HDR. There's no event name there. But if you find those two characters, that represents event of that applications. Event is actually used in the program. We don't really worry about this. Okay. Enter next three. SBR indicates sender. And item indicates item. SQL indicates scheduler. So next three characters indicates what level of data are we extracting. Are we extracting header level data or item level data or scheduler level data? So this point should prove you that in LO extractor, for each level of data you have a different extractor given. To extract header level data you will have a different extractor. To extract item level data you will have a different extractor. To extract schedule line data you will have a different extractor. Now what do you mean by header, what do you mean by item, and what do you mean by schedule line? Now just trying to clarify, look at this. For example, now what do you mean by a sales order? What do you mean by sales order? Let's say there is a customer who comes to me and places an order for me. So is that a sales order for me? For him it is a purchase. He is purchasing from me. So for him it is purchase order, but for the same thing for me it will be what? Sales order. So when the customer comes and places an order to me, does he place an order for one item or multiple items? Probably for one item, or most time you can have multiple items also. Okay? Now let's say there is a customer 300 who comes to me and places an order for two items. One is, let's say, P10 product, P20 product. Okay. Let's say for P10 the quantity is 100, for P20 the quantity is 200. Okay. Then further to this, let's say for P20, let's say quantity is 200, and he asks me not to deliver at a time. He says, out of this 200, deliver me 100 kgs by Jan 31st, and remaining 100 deliver me by March 31st. That's what it is. Okay. Now, who is the customer for item 10? Item P10, item 10? C100. Who is the customer for item 20? C100. So if you look at this customer data, it is common for all the items. We call that information as header. Any information of a sales order which is common for all the items of the order, we call that as header data. Sales order, header data. Customer is sales order, header data. Now when you get it item level, say item 10 indicates product is P10, quantity is 100, and let's say item weightage or item category, all those. Okay. So if you look at this information is specific to one product, one item of order, that is called item level data. For item 10, the quantity is 100. For item 20, the quantity is 200. Order quantity is 200. So this information is specific to item of an order. So we call this as item level data. Okay. If you look at each item, and each item is scheduled to be delivered. Then you go to deliver in multiple schedules. Okay. You are going to have 100 kgs of delivery on Jan 31st and 100 kgs of delivery on March 31st. You place an order for 200, but let's say I may not have the required stock, what he needs, or he may not need all at a time, depending on agreement, then you will go forming multiple schedulers through which you go for delivering the stock to the customer. That is called schedule line. So now you have sales order header data, sales order item data, sales order schedule line data. Actually, purchase order, header, item, scheduler. But doesn't mean that every transaction will have scheduling. But if you understand what is header, what is item, what is scheduling. Okay, delivery schedule ఉండదు. Header, item. Billing, header, item. But doesn't mean every type of transaction may not have scheduling. But sales orders would have scheduling. Okay, you understand now what is header, what is item, what is scheduling? Okay. So, when you're extracting the logistics data from R3 using LO extraction or LO extractor, SAP has delivered extractor specific to data. We have one extractor delivered by SAP to extract header information. We have a separate extractor delivered by SAP to extract item level information. We have separate extractor of data delivered by SAP to extract scheduler. Level ki separate data sources. That is actually the improvement from previously to LO. We had something called LIS extraction where we had only one data source which extracts header, item, schedule, everything. And that had some limitation. I will discuss that. And to overcome with that, SAP just come out with this point with LO extraction where they are delivering the delivering data source specific to level of data. I have one data source for header, one data source for item, one data source for each level. I have a different extractors delivered by SAP. That is the concept. Clear on this? Okay. Any doubts still here? Clear? I said these LO data source are readily delivered by SAP, right? When you say data source is delivered by SAP, they just give you data source, or when you say data source should constitute what? The source of data, whether it is table or view or info set or a function word should be there, and extract section. So I'm saying every data source which is delivered by SAP comes along with what? Extract section and also a function model associated with the coding. And your extract section naming is something like this. Look at this. Naming of your extract section is always like this. It is always prefixed with MC. MC in the button, I will look, but it's always MC. And then next two numbers is about your application. Next two characters is event. Okay. And then 0 indicates root node, the top node of, you remember? When you are referring to data sources in RSS-I, I expand RSS3, SD, conference, the root node is called 0. And then the 3 guys indicate the level of data, header or item or schedule. MC is fixed. The next two characters will be your application component number, and then the event, then the root node, then the level of that. But I cannot say for most of the extractors, for most of the LO data sources delivered by SAP, this is the naming. But I cannot guarantee you it will have the same naming for every LO data source. Generally, this is how it comes. Okay, boss? Because there will be some data source which does not follow this naming also. Okay. Then we need to know something called, while extracting data from R3 to BW, we also use some, what SAP has done is, when they have provided you the environment is all programs or other programs relevant to you to perform LO extraction, they have provided you communication structures also. But LO extraction mechanism is not. When you say they have given some mechanism like this, they have given you the environment, that's what they have given you programs, data sources, extract access, functions, everything is given to you to work on LO extraction for in R3. So those programs which are used to build, which are built to use in LO, they wanted these structures here. Work areas and okay. So what they have done is for most of the logistics tables, like let's say VBAC, they have defined a communication structure as MC VBAC. So you know what the difference between table and a structure? Table can hold multiple records, but the structure cannot hold it. Just as an interface, they use these communication structures in some declarations in terms of the programs. Like this, they have given communication structures also. VBAC is your database. Why I am referring to VBAC here? Because VBAC is a table which will have all your sales documents, header data. VBAC will have all the sales document, item level data. VBEP will have all the sales document, schedule line data. How many tables are there? First table the communication structure or define this per table already. We are not defining it. Already been declared for all the usage of the programs in the LO extract or to customize your extractors in the environment. It's all delivered by SAP. Okay. I can show you those communication structures. BBAK is what? This table will have all the sales document header data, only header data. Why are they splitting header data everything into different tables? Because your art is normalized. Art is OLT system where the database is normalized, right? You know what is normalized? No redundancy. So they split their information to multiple tables like this. This is header data, yeah? Sales document, header data. Now if I go, I should see a structure with this name, MCVPAK. The table structure, what is structure? They are given with this. Okay? It's all given, yeah? VBAP is your sales document item level table. Sales document, item data. Then you see a communication structure, MCVPAK, yes. Okay? Same, let's say now, I got another table VBEP, yeah? Sales document, what is this? Schedule line data. Schedule line data, and then like this, for most of the, let's say for purchasing, you use tables. What is sales? EKQ is the purchasing data. It is header, yeah? Purchasing document. Purchasing data, మనం raw materials కొన్నప్పుడు మనం purchase order raise చేస్తాం. That data will be there in header, yeah? And atla most of the tables ki MC ఎత్తుకుని ఏది ఎందుకు రాయిందంటే మనం ఎల్ఓ ఎక్స్ట్రాక్షన్ will be using when we are generating your ఎల్ఓ data we will be using it. At the same time they would have used these declarations in most of the programs what is built in the backend to perform your extraction. We don't have to exactly know which line of code is using this, we don't have to. Backend for the programs is vadukuntundi. Adi kaakunda we also use this while generating LO data sources. Okay. Extract structure will tell you what needs to be extracted. Our tape, our extract will examine రావాలా B బ్యాక్ నుంచి ఎక్స్ట్రాక్ట్ లో పెట్టాలి కదా ఆ B బ్యాక్ నుంచి తీసుకునేదాని కోసం వాడు ఒక వర్కేర్ MCV అని పెట్టుకుని వేసుకుంటాడు. Actually you have extract section, it will tell you what things to be extracted. And మన extract section ఉన్నప్పుడు ఇది ఎందుకు అంటే B back is a database table. Ultimately you have extract will output table is an extract section. From here yes refer to data and put into this here. See, as a mediation, as an interface, he does use this MC B back as a structure. ఈ టేబుల్ నుంచి డేటా యాక్సెస్ చేసుకుని ఇప్పుడు వర్క్ పెట్టుకుంటారు ఇంటర్ఫేసింగ్ పెట్టుకుని ఇది పెట్టుకుని అది రాసుకుంటారు మిడిల్ ఇంటర్ఫేస్ స్ట్రక్చర్ అంటే రికార్డ్ వస్తాడు పోతాడు అంతే దర్ నో డేటా ఫిజికల్లీ స్టోర్డ్ ఇన్ ఇట్ జస్ట్ యూజ్ యాజ్ అన్ ఇంటర్ఫేస్ ఓకే సో దిస్ ఇస్ వాట్ ది ఇంట్రడక్షన్ ఇస్ that much introduction is pretty much enough. I can go further now. I'm getting into the next topic. How do we generate LO data source? First question, how to generate another question settle ante. I have been saying that LO data source is regularly delivered by SAP as part of business content. Then what is the point in generating this? Instead of generating, you should say how to install LO data source. Then how do you say generate? Yeah? Look at this one. Most of the time, 99%, you are never satisfied with the data sources delivered by SAP as part of business trend, especially for finance. SI is a very satisfied one, but logistics is satisfied cover. What could do? కాబట్టి నువ్వు మెయింటైన్ చేసుకుని ఇచ్చాడు. So what you do is you install the LO data source, okay, which is given along with the extract structure and what the function model code. Then once you install, you go about adding more fields to the extract structure. Okay. When you add more fields to the extract structure, I must regenerate the data source to reflect the changes. The logic ఎలా గుర్తుపెట్టుకోవాలంటే what SAP would have done, first they would have created extract structure, then they would have created a function model. Using these two, they would have created data source and delivered it to you. Now what you are doing, you are changing extract structure. Means you are changing extract structure, you are adding more fields. You cannot, when you say change, you cannot take out a field which is already there, but if you want, you can add more fields, okay. When you add more fields and change your extract structure, should I reflect these changes of extract structure to my data source? For that, I need to regenerate my data source. It's logical. Logical means extract structure create చేసిన SAP ఒకటి ఫంక్షనల్ క్రియేట్ చేసి దాని రెండు బేస్ మీద ఒక డేటా సోర్స్ క్రియేట్ చేసి నీకు ఇచ్చినాడు. నువ్వేం చేస్తున్నావు అంటే you're not happy with the fields in the extract structure and you're adding more fields to the extract structure. And when you add more fields to the extract structure, I must reflect these changes to my data source. And to do that, I need to regenerate my data source. Anduku, we refer it as how to generate LO data source. Did it make sense? And one more thing is, when you go to any interview, they not ask you how to generate LO data source. Okay? Did you work with LO extract? How did you work with that? How do you generate? How did you establish the setup or anything? It's all same point. Okay? 11th question. See whether the steps are being acted. You should understand now. You should get a basic idea now what we are trying to do. Okay? ఈ లాజిక్ మీద అర్థమైపోయింది ఏం చేస్తున్నాం అంటే there is an extract structure created by SAP. Then there is a function model. Using these steps, they have created data source and given it to you. So what I am trying to do is I am trying to first take the ready-made one what is given, then maintain the extract structure with more fields, and then when I maintain the extract with more fields, I must regenerate my data source to reflect the changes of extract. That is what I am going to do now. Look at what is that I am doing. Install the data source from business content. Does it make sense? Right? Since LO extract is delivered by SAP, it will be in delivered version. So in order to convert that into in order to create a copy, I am not converting it. In order to create a copy of the same thing into active version, I must install it. Does that step make sense? Logical okay, boss. So that is that we do that in what? RSFI in BW. In R, we do this in R3. Good. Don't get into this point. We will see the same. What is the next step here? This is only inactivating data source. After install, we basically switch off or switch on. After installing, we switch off it. Then, obviously, we want to maintain extract structure, right? We switch off the extractor, maintain it, generate data source, and then switch it on. That is what we are trying to do here. Okay? So you can say inactivate the data source, in which everything is done in the same code majorly. Yeah? So they call that LBW as LO customizing cockpit. And it's a cockpit. It's a single screen from where you can handle entire things, entire LO extraction. That's what they call LBW as LO customizing cockpit. The T code LBWE is referred as LO customizing cockpit. Okay, screen where LO customization and the case from the consequence wearing it. Okay, what's done? We do maintain extract. And maintain extract. What will I do in this? What will I do in this step? But point to be noted here, if you want, you can add more fields to the extract structure, but you cannot take out a field which is already there. If you are really not interested in the field what is delivered by SAP, you can only hide it if you want. Already extract structure field is field add చేసుకోవచ్చు. ఉన్న field నీకు వద్దు అని పట్టుబడితే హైడ్ పెట్టుకోవాల్సి ఉంటుంది. That is what you can do maximum. Okay, good. So that is what maintain extract structure is basically customizing the extract structure by adding more fields to it. Only adding, okay? You cannot take that field out. Okay? And then what is this? Generate data source. Why am I doing this? LO data source delivered by SAP, right? Why is that I am generating it again? Because I am maintaining my extract structure by adding more fields in it. To reflect those changes of extract structure to my data source, I am regenerating the data source. That's the concept. Okay, boss? And next is specify the update mode. I told you we will bring all the historical data to BW through initialization, and all the new records from then onwards, what are the new postings or changes to the existing postings, we will process them through Delta. For processing Delta records, we have different update modes like direct Delta, Q Delta, serialize or unserialize. Now at this step, we specify what update mode do you want to use. Each update mode will have a different way of processing Delta records. Delta records, delta records is what? New added or modified records. But how are those delta records processed from R3 to BW differ from update mode to update mode? If I have direct delta, how the delta records are processed to BW is different. If I have Q delta, how is those delta records? Ultimately, identifying of delta records is common logic, but అది ఎలా వస్తాయనేది కాన్సెప్ట్ మాట్లాడాలి. The logic of identifying delta records, that is created records or change records, is can't change. But how are those delta records processed to BW will be different, will differ based on the update mode you specify. We have 4 in the latest plugin. We only have 3, but ultimately there are 4: serialized, unserialized, queued, and direct. And now serialized is removed in the latest plugin. Only 3. So if it is direct delta, how are my delta records processed? If it is queued delta, how are my delta records processed? If it is unserialized with the update, how are my delta records processed? And then once knowing about all this, then you should be in a position to choose. For this kind of scenario, I'll use queued. For this kind of scenario, I'll use unserialized. For this kind of scenario, I'll use what? Direct. అలా మనం వాళ్ళకి డిస్కషన్ చేస్తాము. ఒక్కో అప్డేట్ కూడా ఎలా వస్తుందో చూసి దాన్ని మాట్లాడుకుని ఏది ఎప్పుడు వాడుకోవాలంటే డిస్కషన్ చేస్తాము. Then you are switching it off, right? I will inactivate it here. Once all the setting is done, I will inactivate it back. Okay, once? And then what? Boarding system, replicate. You go to BW and now the database is ready. I start replicating and connecting with the target. So now after that I have not written any steps. Create queue, transformation, I have step with that. Till here you end up. Once the data is ready, replicate, connect to target. You don't say replicate, connect info, format rules, you will answer only thing this. This is what. It's fine once you say replicate, he understands it. You monitor good bit of but did you understand the steps logically? Changes to know, yeah, fine, good. Just easier you get now, just we'll go through. What is it? Install data source from business content. You go to RFC file, you just select your data source and say what? I think you have done this, you know how it does it go. Okay? Good. Next, what is the next step? Inactivate the data source, right? What is the T code you get in? LO customizing cockpit, LBWE. You get in there, you go to the respective data source and you see a link. What is the link here? Active. Just click that active link and then it becomes what? Inactive. That is it. Then, and the third step, you want to maintain the extract structure, right? And the same T code what? LBWE. You see a link, inactive in there, you see a link. What is the link here? Maintenance. When you just click on the maintenance link, it opens up a screen like this. You see left block, this is your left block and this is your right block. And left block will be having all the fields of extract structure. So you see somewhere in blue or black and all the fields which are ready-madely delivered by SAP will be in blue. And in the right hand side you see communication structure. What is communication structure? I told you. For enabling LO extraction, SAP has different communication structure, MCV, back and different. In the right hand side, you get to see all the fields of communication structures, relevant communication structures, because there are many. We have got MCV back, MCVBEP, MCEKK, but when you go to maintain extract structure here, in the left hand side, you see extract structure fields, delivered by SAP, which are in blue. In the right hand side, you get to see fields of relevant extract structure, relevant communication structure fields only. If you are maintaining LO data source of relevant to sales. In the right hand side, you get to see communication structure only relevant to sales. And from here, if you want any of the fields, you can just move it to left block. And whatever has been added, you get to see them in what? Black. And they are not part of ready-made extract structure. We have explicitly added them now. And the one which is in the blue are not the ready-made ones. And you just move them to left and say OK. Okay? And the point to be noted here is, if I don't have a required field even in the communication structure also, then you get onto the concept called data source enhancement, which we see that as a separate topic. My let's say my extract structure doesn't have my fields, what I need, and when you go to maintain, in the right hand side you get to see all the fields of communication structures here. You know what is communication structure? From those communication structures you can just move them, fields what you need. If you don't have your required field even in the communication structure, then you would go with concept of data source enhancement. We will refer that as a separate topic. Clear of this thing here? Good. And you just say okay. When you say okay, the extract sector is being generated. Then next step is what? Generate element data source. The same thing called element V, and instead of using this link, you use this link. You just click on your data source, and then you get to, when you click on this data source, it will regenerate my data source and shows you the screen. Obviously, when you see the screen, it's almost the last step of your extract, right? You get to see data source, description, package, where it is saved, what is extract sector, does it support delta? Does this extract support delta? Yes. And down you get to see all the fields of what? Down you get to see all the fields of extract sector. You will see here, did I select these two fields, KO, KRS, KOSTL? These two fields are part of ready-made extract sector, or did I add it to the extract sector? We have customized it, right? So what happens, when you go about generating a data source, for all the fields what you have explicitly added, okay? By default, hide and field only non-exit checkbox will be selected. For all the fields what you have explicitly added from communication sector to extract sector, when you go over generate data source, you get to see them as by default hide is enabled. You know what is hide, right? Yes. And don't worry about this field. For now you understand, field only non-exit checkbox goes along with hide. Hide select this, select yellow, and default is yellow. Okay. Now if I just leave it like this, the fields what you added explicitly to extract, so will it come to BW? No. What should I do? So while generating data, I should deselect this hide. When you deselect hide, you should also deselect this field non-exit, and then save and generate your data source. Is all clear? Then one more point. You know about selection, you know about hide, and then there's what is this other column? In LO we use this a lot. Inverse, very important. Okay. First point, the inversion checkbox will be enabled only for key figure fields only, not for characteristic fields. The inversion checkbox will be enabled only for key figure fields only. Why? What is the purpose? If you enable inversion, what will happen? If I don't enable, what will happen? That's the concept. Okay. Now first thing I'm telling you, if I enable, what will happen? Okay. Let's say look at this now. Let's say I have a sales order 7722 and where the value is 5,000. Let's say as of today 5,000. Now you extracted the historical data of 5,000 here and loaded into BW. So what is the value in BW? 7722. What is the net value? 5,000. After 2 days, you have changed this transaction from 5,000 to let's say 7,500. Whenever a document is changed in LO extractor, okay, when the document is changed, okay, you capture the delta records. You document posting marked delta to pattukuntunna. The delta record of a change will have 2 records in it. One is before image, one is after image. 7722 5,000 before image. 7722 7,500 after image, like ODS. Okay, those 2 records will have. Now, if I enable checkbox, if I enable that inversion checkbox, what is this called? Is this net value, right? It's a keyword value. Let's say if I select inversion checkbox, when these 2 records come into BW, mathematics enter into PSA, the before image key figure values will be multiplied with -1 and then taken into BW. When the document is changed from 5,000 to 7,000 in R3, the delta record is still collected with 2 records. The delta LU, we call it as LUW. Okay. The LW select, the change LUW is selected with 2 records, one is before image and after image. Okay. 7722 5,000 before image, before change, 7722 7,500 after change. Okay. There in R3, there it is not negative. Okay. But when I extract those delta record into BW, if you enable inversion checkbox for net value, the net value of the before image record will be multiplied with -1 and then converted into BW. So in R3 it is 5,000 7,500, but by the time it comes into BW, what does it come in? -5,000 7,500. Let's say we load these two to the queue. You already have 5,000. Now -5,000 gets in and 7,500 gets in. Now what is the value in BW? 7,500. What is the value in R3? 7,500. Suppose if you don't enable the inversion checkbox, what happens? This will come as it is. As it is means what? Already we have 5,000 in the queue. Again 5,000 7,500 comes in. What is the value now? 17,500. Does it make, do you understand now inversion checkbox? So, okay, but in the BW, if you're overwriting data with ODS, inversion may not be useful. But if you're loading data to the cube directly and you want to add those values, then inversion becomes important. So, do you understand the inversion importance of the checkbox? Select, you all know about field selection, hide, place on transfer structure. Inversion enable only the keywords to have those keyword value of your before image records to be multiplied with -1 and then comes into BW. If you enable inversion checkbox, when it is passing delta records, all the records of before image keyword values will be multiplied with -1 and then considered into BW. That's why to maintain exact get without any data mismatch, if you want maintain values, it makes sense to use inversion checkbox. Does it make sense? Okay? Yeah. Like this, while generating data source, you start depending on requirement, you will play with selection, hide and what? Inversion. For now, don't get into this checkbox, field only known as it, but now you understand field only known as exit checkbox goes along with hide. Hide select this, select jail, and the select is jail, that is it. And like this, depending on the requirement, you start customizing selection, hide, invert, all this, and then save your data source to generate it. Once the data source is generated, then you specify what? Update mode. Because in the same LBW code, you see a link here at the top. I don't know link code. When you just click on this link, it shows me all update modes. So in the latest plugin, you only see 3: direct delta, keyword, unsealed. In the old, we also had serialized also. But depending on the record, you just choose update mode. As of now, you are not really clear on what happens if I select delta, direct delta, what happens if I select keyword, what happens if I select unsealed. What a select just some work. We will get into details later. Specified update mode, anything you want. Just choose the radio button and say okay. That is it. And then what? Activate the data, same link. Now it will be inactive. Now just click on the same link and then it becomes what? It's a toggle button. When it is active, if you just click, it becomes inactive. When it is inactive, you just click it, it becomes active. That is the activating. Then what? Boarding step. Changing the life. Go to RSBS, give your data source and say replicate. When you replicate, what will happen? Replicate conversation, replicate data, changes. What will you do when it replicates? It will create sample section at the same time. It actually needs complete information or complete metadata of your data source from R3 and formulate the transfer structure in BW. Okay? If it is 7, after transfer structure is found, in 7, when you activate data source, then it creates the timestamp. It maintains some timestamp saying at what time it was replicated. And if it is 3.x, when you assign the data source to some infos and activate your transfer rules, then it creates a timestamp in source saying at this point of time, then it creates a transfer structure in R3 course. When you replicate your data source, it reads the complete information of your data source and formulates your transfer structure in BW. And after this, if it is BHN flow, when you activate your data source, then it creates a transfer structure in R3. Transfer structure is both. For 3.x, once it is replicated, when you assign to infos and activate your transfer rules, then it creates a transfer structure in R3. That's very, very important. A transfer structure is R3 lo untundi, BW lo untundi. Extra section only R3 lo untundi. Extra section lo definition batti you transfer structure ikkada replicate chesinapudu create avutundi. Okay, boss? So all the data sources delivered by SAP everything will only have extract structure and the function model associated with it only. When you replicate it to BW, then the transfer structure is changed. And when you activate your transfer rules, if it is 3.x, and if it is 7, when you activate your data source, then it creates the transfer structure in R3 course. Ready-made data source transfer structure ఉండదు. Only extract structure function model ఉంటుంది. నువ్వు replicate చేసి 3.x లో transfer rules activate చేసినప్పుడు transfer structure create అవుతుంది R3 లో. అదే 7 లో data source activate చేసినప్పుడు transfer structure create అవుతుంది R3. That's point to be noted. Okay. Then replicate we are done. Then we can start. Once it is replicated, we will build the complete data flow and then what? Once it is done, we will load all the historical data flow in it and then we will do some changes and then process them through what? Delta becomes. Okay. So whatever we have seen with, let's see these steps practically. You know the field, what field, you'll have description, any field. How do you know whether it is keyword or not? Obviously, only if it is keyword, the checkbox enabled, otherwise it's not enabled for us. Checkbox enabled is not there. Okay. So I'm going to use the same data source, 2LIS 11 VHDL. I would like to extract sales order header data. I would like to extract sales order header data from R3 to BW. So for extracting sales order header data, I have a data source called 2LIS 11 VHDL. I'm going to use it to extract my data. So first step is I need to install it from business context. RHA file, R3, the relevant SD, and then I see this 2LS 11 VHDL. Before I install, I want to prove you that this data source was given by extract along with extract sector. How do I do this? Double click on it. Data source, extract sector, delta, these are the fields. Normally you see this in this screen as the last step of your generic data source. Okay? Valid knowledge data source మొత్తం ఉంది. Does it support delta? Yes, it's all there. Okay. I just installing it now. Select this data source and say what? Right. Done. Okay. And then after installing, then what? What is my next step? I'll go to LBW. You can get it LBW directly like this, or you can get into this with the path. Yeah. You see this one here? Logistics, extract sectors, customizing. So the name will tell you logistics, extraction structures, customizing carpet. There is a screen where you can customize your extract sectors. Yeah. This also does get to the same thing. Okay, what's fine. Done. Now you come here to maintain the extract sector. For which data source? 2LS 11 VHD. And that does belong to which application bus? Expand 11. Expand extract sectors. You see, you want to make, you get to see all the extract sector names. You want to maintain extract sector of what? MC11 VHD, or you can identify with the data source names. Which data source is it? This is the data source you want to maintain. Yeah? So what will it be? It's already active. Now what should I do? First click on this. Say okay. It becomes inactive now. Okay? Done. Now next one. I want to maintain the extract sector. Click on maintenance. Now what are the I see left block and right block. Left block is nothing but I see all these are the ready-made fields already which are there in the extract sector. See, I only see standard ones which is delivered first. I cannot select this also. When I can't select, I cannot move that out. Okay? I can only add new fields. Okay? I would like to add some fields. On the right hand side, I get to see what? Fields of communication structure. Does it show you every communication structure in R3 or only relevant to those? Drop down, you can see. You are able to see only fields of MCVBAK and MCVBUK, right? These are the only two communication structures relevant to sales order, header, sales document, header data. Now maintain extract sector annappudu right side lo communication sector undu anni communication sector next field lagalevu aa data relevant ga unna communication sector lo nunchi field echukochu. Suppose if I go to sales document item extract sector, I can maintain it from header and item both. For example, చూపిరా కమ్యూనికేషన్ సెక్టర్స్ ఏముంటాయని చూపి VBAK ఉంది, తర్వాత ఏంటి హెడర్ ఐటమ్ రెండు ఉన్నాయన్నట్టు. అదే స్కెడ్యూల్కి వెళ్తే హెడర్ ఐటమ్ స్కెడ్యూల్స్ కూడా ఉంటాయన్నట్టు. అట్లా ఒక్కొక్క ఆ డేటా సోర్స్ కి ఎక్కడెక్కడ నువ్వు తెలుసుకోవాలతో ఆ రిలేవెంట్ కమ్యూనికేషన్ సెక్టర్స్ మాత్రం కనిపిస్తాయి, వేరే కనపడతాయి. I'll go back to my now. I just want some of the fields. I want this. In the real level, those two make sense. LMN. I also want this. What is this? Because I want to see the conversion effect here. Salam. You have to be able to not have to inform. I am okay with this thing. Fine. Okay. Okay, was fine. Say okay. Do you really want to confirm this answer? Yes. Then if you okay good enough, you all have to observe this message at the down. In the dialog box, observe it. Okay. Escape is given the extra picture. By adding more fields, I am regenerating it again. So since I regenerate, I must regenerate my data source to reflect these changes into it again. Okay. In line with other content. Okay. Then next, what is this here? Server level, company input is you should read that. Then you use this data source name to generate your data source again. Click on this. Why I am generating? Because my extract structure is regenerated, so I must regenerate my data source to reflect the changes of extract structure. Now just data source name, description, suppose delta is the name of the extract structure, package is all fine. Now, if you see here, if you observe the fields what you have moved, what is KOKRS, KOSQL, these both are characteristics. Now, hide and this were enabled, right? What should I do? If I disable this, just refresh once. Now it's a characteristic, right? It enables selection everything, but does not enable universal, right? The characteristic no longer valid. Now, for KO, fine, this is also not enabled because it's not a key figure. See what next, what is this field? Network, this is under ఏవైతే field add చేసినా by default hide ఉంటుంది అన్నమాట. So I must deselect the other, you don't get this field. Deselect this, refresh. Now for network, does it enable this checkbox inversion? Search ఏమైతే తెలుసు కదా. I am enabling it, so I must, while bringing delta record, I must observe that before it is coming with negative 2 BW. And then what? Save. Actually, data source pair link put on there. You get a message saying data source is being generated and also slowly. Okay. And then, okay, before setting it, now what? So I made it my extracted, is all fine. For this application, now yes, this is where you can specify your update mode. Because I want to special update mode for my extractor. And my extractor belongs to which application was 11. And this is where it is. The point to be noted here is, whatever the delta update mode is specified, that is not specific to data source. That is specific to all data sources belonging to that application. If I just click on this and say direct delta, it will be direct delta for all the extractors which belong to 11. And one data source under 11 direct delta, one data source under 11 is pure possible. Application level ఉన్నటువంటి ఒకటే డెల్టా అప్డేట్ కూడా ఉండాలి. నా గోయింగ్ విత్ డైరెక్ట్ డెల్టా ఇన్స్టాల్ కోర్స్. ఎందుకు డైరెక్ట్ డెల్టా మనం చెప్తాం. ఓకే, ఫస్ట్ డైరెక్ట్ డెల్టా చదువుకోలేదు. ఓకే ఫైన్. ఓకే, సో ఫర్ అప్లికేషన్ లెవెల్ వాట్ ఈస్ డేటా సెలెక్ట్ డైరెక్ట్ డెల్టా. ఫైన్. నౌ ఐ లైక్ ద డేటా సోర్స్. మళ్ళీ చదువుకోవాలి. రైట్, టు రీడ్ త్రూ దట్ చదవాలి. ఓకే, మై డేటా సోర్స్ రెడీ. Now I can go to BW and replicate. But I want to go 3.x only. ఎందుకు 3.x నాకు 7 రాదని కాదు. If I go 7 flow, mapping to inforbidden field will be very tough. Okay. If I go 3.x flow, I have info source ready-madely, so it's easy for me to map it here. 7 lo kuda you can still use it info source and use it, right? In 7, info source not mandatory, but they still load it with info source also. Yes. Now replicated this. Now what is the next step? I'll connect this to info source. Go to data sources. You can connect it from here itself. Training generic sales. Another data source. You could have replicated from here also, but it's also fine. Okay. First executed, now I should say right click. From here itself I will say what? Assign info source, or you can use this option what? Create transfer. Normally what you do is you go to info source, assign data source, right? From data source I am saying assign info source. Now when I go with assign info source, I get two options enabled. One is content and proposal. When I say content means what? What SAP is done is, because of the tight integration between BW and R3, for every ready-made data source, I have a ready-made info source. For every ready-made data source in R3, I will have a ready-made info source in BW with the same naming. Then content and get what thing is for my data source, it will install the data info source which is in the same name. ఏ పేరుతో డేటా సోర్స్ ఉందో అదే పేరుతో నీకు బిడలో కూడా info source ఉంటుంది. అది if you want to install it from the content, you can go ahead. Okay? నాకేమైనా ఆల్రెడీ ఒకసారి ఇన్స్టాల్ చేసి పెట్టినాను. ఓకే, గోయింగ్ విత్ ప్రపోజల్. ఇట్ ప్రపోజ్ వాట్ ఇస్ ఆల్రెడీ ఇన్స్టాల్. ఇట్ విల్ నాట్ టేక్ మచ్ టైం. నువ్వు ఫస్ట్ టైం చేస్తున్నావు అంటే దాన్ని గో టు కంటెంట్ ఆల్రెడీ చేసిన తీసుకుందా. సో వాట్ ఇస్ data source also getting assigned to info source. Say what? Yes. You can also do this. You can go to business content, install info source. Once it is done, you can right click on the info source and say R3 connection at all. You can assign data source into info source. Anyway, you can do this. No mapping proposal, anything mapping is in there. I must only worry about KOK. I just make sure you check this. KOKRS, KOSL, you have those fields. Good. And if you make sure whether it is the mapping is proposed for these three, this is which is important for me. Mapping is done. Blue is not infinite tables. If it is black, no, it is not mapped. That is it. So you can do it not easy. So proposing it, so then what? I'll just create a key. So I have connected my info source to my info source. Sorry, I connected my data source to my info source, parallel transfer. Now when I activate tools, now it creates the transfer section R3. Yeah. Then what I'll just create my queue, connect my info source queue with the help of update tools. When you activate rules, it does create transfer section at the same time. It will also set some timestamp saying ఈ టైం రెప్లికేట్ అయిందని కూడా పెట్టుకుంటాం. రెప్లికేషన్ వారెంట్ రావలేదు. సో నాకు కూడా మీ ఇంట్లో కూడా పేరుతో ఉండాలి. కనిపిస్తుందా? చివరికి ఏం చేస్తే ట్రాన్స్ఫర్ రూల్స్ rules is of which connection here? Okay, info source, transfer source, data source. Fine, I'll build next floor at the top. What? Q. Let me create a cube here. I will create. Now what I must create my dimensions and then assign the info. I just create some 2 dimensions. Instead of just right click and say info, but remembering the names of giving it, I can just choose it from the template and say info source. And so I'm not doing any analysis on the dimensions, but below ASL of the road person. These two will be my keys here. Automatic unit source. That okay. Then okay, instead of just specifying info one by one, I'm just using my info source as a template. It shows me all the info based in my info source. Based on that, I'm just moving them and specifying them. The scheme is ready. Now I will create my update rules. From there, so here is my mapping of net value. Here is the mapping of the characteristics. Here the names are same, just composing automatically. Style mapping. Actually. Remember the scheme ZVA underscore HDL. So 3 explore it, okay? Very info package. What is it? Why unit load? My database supports Delta, so I do unit to bring in what? All the historical data, and then I will process the new document, Delta document with Delta load. Which target is our file one of the HDL update. What update will you choose? Unit. See, unit lo rendu time on with the data, without data. So why do you run unit? Why do you run unit? Then you could have done full load. What is the difference of full and unit? So the main concept of running unit is to enable delta. So that initialization can be done with the data, without data. Because it initializes with the data, it does bring in the historical data and then enables you to run delta. If I say without data, it does not worry about bringing the historical transit, but enables you to run delta. Very fast. You can do with the data, without data, because I want historical data, so I will say with the data, and then I can start up. But do you see delta here? No, right? Once you run the unit successfully, then you start getting to see delta. Run just the raw data. Now complete. We are ready to run this init load. Next delta, we can start running the unit and then delta. We are ready, but we run just raw. Like for normal extractor, we just run, you get the data. But for this, we have to do a lot of steps in R3 to have the data coming into BW. Now, what is update mode? We have enabled yellow extractor direct delta. So now we have to see how do I migrate my data using direct delta. Means how do I bring the historical transactions and how do I process those delta records? What we have to see with direct delta. See, all your data would be into these tables, and from there, how do you bring it in middle? You have some more tables as well. So only before you run it, you have to do all those steps in R. There are some steps you need to perform in RP to have your data coming into BW. That is what we call it. How do you migrate data using the update mode, the direct delta mode? Yeah. So you have some steps. So how do you migrate it using what? Different update mode. Now we are using what? Direct delta. So what all we will use, we will see that. Okay. So we'll go for break first and then come down. That's why we are not touching it. Yeah? So come back by 9:30. Then we will start migrating with direct delta. We'll migrate with direct delta. We'll do it fluid. We'll do it consider. Then we'll discuss what is what. Then when to use what. The part becomes